Players. So this literally sounds like a Lifetime movie from back in the 90s. So did y'all hear about this despicable identity theft from back in the 80s? Apparently this man was working on a hot dog cart with this guy and he stole his identity back in the 80s. He had been trying to tell these people that his identity had been stolen, but they threw him in a mental hospital. He spent time in jail, all of that, trying to clear his name. Y'all grab your tea and have a seat. Let's get into this. So court records show that the two men, Matthew Kyrens and William Woods, first met each other when they was working on a hot dog cart together in Albuquerque, New Mexico in the 1980s. Now, for some reason unknown to prosecutors, Matthew Kyrens began using William Woods' information in 1988. He obtained loans in this man's name up to $200,000. He also got married, had children, all of the above under William Woods' identity. Now, William Woods didn't find out about him using his identity until 2019. He learned about the bank loans. He went into the bank to dispute these loans, saying that he didn't do it, and they told him to go to the police. When he went to the police, for some reason, he was identified as Matthew Kyrens. So police arrested William Woods and charged him with identity theft and false impersonation. They insisted that William Woods was actually Matthew Kyrens. And then when they got to the court case, the California judge found him not mentally competent to stand trial because he repeatedly disputed that he was Matthew Kyrens. Baby, they sent him to a state mental hospital where he received psychopathic medication. William Wood ultimately spent 428 days in the county jail and 147 days in the mental institution before he was released, agreeing to a no contest plea. He was ordered to pay $400 fine and to stop using his own name, William Wood. So meanwhile, the real Matthew Kyrens was calling the police and prosecutors to check on the progress of the case. He also complained in an email to prosecutors that the real William Wood had filed 30 disputes on his credit report, and he had spent 2 hours clearing all of it up, and he needed some advice. But the real William Wood was not going to take this situation lying down. He was doing some work behind the scenes because the state of California was trying to collect on the money that he owed for being in the mental institution. So he was researching this whole thing, and he reached out to the University of Iowa Hospital, where the real Matthew Kyrens was earning more than $100,000 a year. So the real William Wood was ultimately able to get a DNA test with his biological father, and he was able to prove that he was the real William Wood. And this is how Matthew Kyrens was arrested for stealing this man's identity in the 1980s, causing him to be jailed for over a year and also thrown in a mental institution in the state of California. You cannot make this up even if you try. So now William is working to get those convictions for the false impersonation off of his criminal record. He wants those removed. And the man who stole his identity, 58-year-old Matthew David Kyrens, who was living in Heartland, Wisconsin, was convicted, and he faces up to 32 years in prison for making false statements to a National Credit Union Administration insured institution and aggravated identity theft. Now, a sentencing date has not been set in that federal case, but Kyrens spent 20 days in jail last year on a related state charges in Iowa. Players, you can't make it up even if you tried. Y'all remember that Lifetime movie about identity theft? I believe it was a true story where the teacher had her identity stolen by this lady that worked at a financial institution when she was buying a house. That lady was doing all kind of stuff. She was terrorizing that woman. Y'all, this is just absolutely horrible. And I'm going to keep it a stack with you. William Wood, he need to go ahead and sue the state because this is sad. All right, players, put your thoughts in the comments. This is Double D Mo for the Black Accurate News.